Okay, there seems to be a bit of confusion as to what is a hit scan weapon as opposed to a projectile weapon. This is a fundamental concept in a lot of shooter games, but because this is a WarFrame channel, we're going to use WarFrame to demonstrate. Here we are in a simulacrum with my Mag Prime, and basically we're going to look at the hit scan weapons first. So the hit scan weapon is really straightforward. As soon as you pull the trigger of the weapon, the target is immediately and instantly hit. For example, click, 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 click. Every time I trigger the weapon by clicking, the target is instantly hit and is therefore dealt a bunch of damage as a direct result of being hit. So that's essentially what a hit scan weapon is. It doesn't matter what kind of range you're at. You could be further away and it's still instant. You could be really close and it's still instant. As long as you shoot and as long as you have aimed at the target is hit. So that is basically how that works. So we have a few other examples of hit scanned weapons as well. For example, the Tenora, as well as the Tenora Prime, for those who have Octavia Prime and or Prime access. The Aklex Prime. The Tigris Prime. The Sinoid Gamma Core, as well as all beam weapons. And Euphona Prime's secondary attack, which happens to be a shotgun. Despite there being a visual that kind of shows some form of a bullet flying towards the target as if it is actually a projectile weapon, all hit scan weapons are actually not projectile weapons in any way, shape, or form, in the sense that these weapons will always do instant damage. So as soon as you trigger it, it does instant damage. That is the key characteristic of what is considered a hit scan weapon. The alternative, of course, is a projectile weapon. For example, a Paris Prime, or frankly every single bow in the game at this particular moment in time. So the way that a projectile weapon works is that there is actually a delay from the firing / triggering of the weapon to when the target gets damaged. So for example, I'm about to shoot my arrows at this target right here. Fire. You can see that there is a little delay before it takes damage. Fire. One more time. Fire. So that's basically it. And it doesn't matter if you're very close or very far away, there is still technically a delay. Now, of course, if you are really close, it is instant. But if you are very far away, for example, in this corner right here, trying to attack this corrupted heavy gunner right here, fire. You can see that there is a bit of a delay. We have a bunch of other projectile weapons, of course. So, for example, we have weapons such as the Supra Vandal, the Hiku Prime, the Kuva / Dragoon, which of course is a shotgun, the Ballistica Prime, as well as Euphona Prime's primary attack being a slug. Basically, the further you are, the more travel time it takes to cover the distance that your projectile will need to cover before it hits the target. So you're going to have to be able to lead enemies when you're using projectile weapons. Of course, like I demonstrated, if you happen to be right in front of the target, then of course even a projectile weapon will suddenly feel like it's a bit of a hit scan weapon. Just keep in mind that in WarFrame, we do have mods that you can apply onto weapons to increase the projectile flight speed. So essentially, that's pretty much it. The idea between hit scan and projectiles is that hit scan is instant damage, projectile is delayed damage. Hit scans don't actually travel per se. Instead, the target just takes damage immediately after you trigger, whereas projectiles do travel, so you will need to sort of aim in a leading fashion if the target happens to be running around. To really just talk about WarFrame for a second, there is this big difference when it comes to using a hit scan versus a projectile weapon in WarFrame, especially in the context of mag. So for example, if I were to use something like the Soma Prime inside a magnetized bubble, Obviously, we're not going to see anything particularly visually exciting, but we still will see quite a decent amount of gameplay-wise effectiveness, in form of damage of course, from this kind of combo. Whereas with something like a Supra Vandal, because it is a projectile weapon, you can find that the projectiles will in fact be swirling around inside the Manhunt bubble when everything is said and done. Like so. So visually speaking, we can notice something that is in fact very, very impressive. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Would you prefer to use a hit scan weapon or a projectile weapon? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoy this. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more WarFrame content. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.